The Crown's reign has officially come to an end on Netflix with the second installment of the sixth and final season. On Thursday, the streamer released part 2 of season 6 of the hit drama inspired by the lives of the British royal family, closing the saga after 6 seasons. While the 4 episodes of part 1, released November 16, focused on Princess Diana, Elizabeth Debicki, and her last summer before her death in a car accident in Paris in 1997, the part 2 installment, told in 6 episodes, took a wider view to conclude multiple storylines. The 72-minute Sleep Dearie Sleep begins around 2005 and sees Prince Charles Dominic West ask Queen Elizabeth, Imelda Staunton for permission to marry Camilla Parker Bowles, Olivia Williams at long last. The sovereign has hesitations, and her mind is in other places, as her advisors guide her to plan for Operation London Bridge, the code name for her funeral arrangements. Delicately balancing her duties as monarch and matriarch, Queen Elizabeth consults her Lord Bishops on the idea of Charles and Camilla tying the knot, which is complicated by infidelity and their previous divorces. The clergy suggests a civil ceremony, wedding, and church blessing, with an atonement to acknowledge previous wrongdoings. Mulling it over, the Queen asks Prince William, Ed McVeigh, and Prince Harry, Luther Ford, for their blessing. Perhaps foreshadowing of the rift to come, William says yes on both of their behalf for the sake of their father's happiness, leaving Harry speechless. The Prince of Wales, as Charles was known at the time, tears up when his mother calls to give him permission to propose, which is indeed a royal rule, and drops to one knee at home, asking Camilla to marry him more than 30 years after their romance began. She says yes, and plans for their April 9, 2005 nuptials are set in motion. Episode 10 also shows Prince Harry choosing a Nazi costume while shopping with Prince William and his girlfriend Kate Middleton, Meg Bellamy, for a Colonials and Natives theme party. Following the night out, Harry's picture in the problematic outfit was blasted across the newspaper front pages after a fellow guest took his photo him at the party. "Oh, Harry," Queen Elizabeth says, adding to her woes. At the same time, funeral planning and her looming 80th birthday made the monarch wonder how much longer she wanted to reign for. Olivia Colman, who played Queen Elizabeth in seasons 3 and 4 of The Crown, visits her to float the idea that it could be a good idea to abdicate in favor of Charles. Charles and Camilla's wedding day arrives, and it's clear that the Prince of Wales's sons see it differently. William dutifully suits up for the civil ceremony at Windsor Guildhall, while Harry still seems stormily skeptical. With much on her mind, Queen Elizabeth handwrites the reception speech she plans to make, which the royal family privately wondered if she would use to abdicate. Claire Foy, who played the young queen in seasons 1 and 2 of The Crown, appears and urges her elder self to keep the oath she took and reign until she no longer could. Queen Elizabeth attends Charles and Camilla's wedding blessing at St. George's Chapel and makes a bright speech at the reception to wish the couple well, with no allusion to any plans to retire. Soon after, she finds herself alone with Prince William and reminds him to always be kind to Harry. "In many ways, it's harder being number 2 than number 1, the Queen tells her grandson destined for the throne. The monarch slips away from the festivities to pray, and Prince Philip, Jonathan Pryce, compliments her remarks and confidence in carrying on because those that come after you are not remotely ready to take over. In a bittersweet exchange, Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth mull the future of the monarchy itself and admit that they've looked at each other's funeral plans, and the Duke of Edinburgh gives his wife's hand a squeeze. Alone in the chapel, the sole song that the Queen chose for her funeral, the bagpipe lament Sleep, Dearie Sleep, rings out, and she imagines her royal standard-draped coffin in the space with regalia and flowers atop it. A younger vision of herself, Viola Predejohn, salutes her from the altar before Foy and Colman reappear in black dresses. The dreamlike sequence comes to a close as Queen Elizabeth inhales and walks alone through an airy hall, through a door into bright light. All 6 seasons of The Crown are now streaming on Netflix.